So welcome to the session. So now today we are going to speak about LD Mills value analysis techniques. Okay. So we know that father of value engineering is LD Mills. So he had introduced 13 techniques related to value analysis. We are going to see these 13 techniques and how you can bring these 13 techniques for you to achieve value engineering for your product or process or project. So I understand that you are going for a process. Now you need to apply this for you to look for bringing more value for the process for the two projects, whatever you select. Okay. So this is the 13 principles which has been introduced by LDMS. First one is we should avoid generalities. We should get. Second is going to be get all the available cost. Use information from the best source. You have to blast, create, and refine. Yesterday we have seen this, right? Blast, create, and refine, and you have to use the real creativity. That's where we are also going with a lot of new tools, 635, writing, brainstorming, nominal group motive, Gordon technique. So we use different techniques. And we are also going to you need to identify and overcome the roadblocks. Suppose if you have any roadblocks, you need to identify that and you need to eliminate this one. And you have to use industry experts to extend the specialized knowledge. You have to get a dollar sign on the key tolerances. This is applicable for a design. But again, for your process, you can use the industry experts to extend the specialized knowledge. And you have to utilize the your supplier for you to achieve the functional products. You can use them. You can use the suppliers to achieve the functionality of the products. Okay, and you have to utilize and pay for vendors. You can also utilize the skill of your suppliers, vendors, and also the knowledge of the suppliers. You have to utilize the specialty processes and you have to utilize the applicable standards and you have to use the criteria. So would I spend my money this way? So we are going to see all these 13 in detail now and how you can bring it for you to achieve the value to your process.
Right, sir.
First one is going to be you have to avoid generalities, right? So you have to avoid generalities. How you can avoid generalities? Uh, see V stands for value engineering. See that normally the value engineers they need to make inquiries. So you need to make inquiries and you have to avoid general statement. So you always need to avoid the general statements such a way you need to go for a detailed analysis and you should always ask the question why it is been done in that way, how it is been done, what, where, why, whom. Okay, you have to ask all these questions to get the maximum information about the process. Okay, so say for example, for your process, you can use this technique. Okay, so and by bringing this one, what we can do is we can get the maximum uh, information about so and so topic. Okay, so say for example, if you are going for any detailed analysis. Say for example, the process. Okay, you can take for your process itself. You have to always ask the question. You don't. That's why the information phase is very much important. You always get the maximum questions, maximum answers, what you're going to analyze. Okay, and accordingly you can take a call. Okay, and you should always use the best practice. Okay, use the best practice uh, by bringing the products or components. These are some of the examples. Okay, this for a product, but not for a process. Okay, where say for example, I can go in depth about one particular plastic component alone, sheet metal component. Okay, like that I can go in depth. Yeah, but for your process, you need to see what you're going to study. Similarly, the consumptions, the power consumption, what you're going to take it. Okay, you have to always ask these questions in order to bring the maximum question, maximum answer so that it becomes an information for you to proceed actual value engineering. Okay, tertiary information is very much important. And this is also the second part is very important. You have to get all the available cost. Okay, and even try to get the maximum cost which are available. So this will help for you to decide to make a decision also. That's why you try to get maximum available cost. Say for example, you have to get part cost. So here for it will be process cost, stage by stage cost, and bill of material cost, material cost, labor cost. You try to get all the costs like this. Okay. Say for example, if any project is coming, this is the project which has been given. It's not given by your customer. You are going to do it yourself. Okay. Any project is being given to you to do any costing analysis. Okay, so you need to come up with some effort where you can do the cost analysis with all the available costs. It will also help you to uh, which will also help you to target the high cost part. Okay, and also this will help you to carry out data generation where you can also concentrate attacking the high cost part. And the third one is you have to use the information from the best source. Always use the information from the best source. You have to collect the correct information from the correct person. Okay, it's not that you are going to ask the technical information to a purchase team and purchase information to the technical person. So you need to ask the right person, the right information. Okay, otherwise you will not get the information. Okay, you have to use the information from the best source. Okay, this is also very much important. Okay,
So
you have to ask.
sometimes information you may have to gather from the external stakeholders also, like
Yeah,
customer.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's also critical because
yes,
at customer end also we should know who is the right source or right person for information.
exactly. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Even the suppliers also, even the suppliers, it is applicable for all craft customers and team. Okay, you try to
Yes.
get these informations, and yes, this is what we have seen yesterday also, right? You have to blast, create, and refine. Now blast is nothing but you have to create the maximum information, analyze the functions and those things we are going to do, and create is one what we are going to create ideas, and refine is the one where we're going to implement ideas. So blasting is nothing but the current design, whatever our current process. You have to look for you have to identify the possible low cost alternative by looking at the function. Then you have to create the new alternatives, the feasible ideas you have to create. Then evaluate the ideas. Then you have to make that particular ideas to come to implement basically. You have to redesign the process. So here it's not a product here. So you're going to redesign the process. So and, you have to achieve the scope for cost reduction. That is your target. So you have to identify the low cost alternate. Maybe it can be from the alternate supplier or any alternate process, which should be technically feasible and also commercially viable. Okay, you have to take into those aspects, and you have to use the real creativity. That's what we are trying to do. A lot of we are going to include a lot of tools. Okay, and where we are going to create new methods, new ideas, and we should always think of doing or accomplishing a function. So you always think of the function in alternate ways. So you should also capture all the ideas that comes to your mind, and also you should encourage others to give the idea. You should not evaluate the ideas. You don't need to worry about the feasibility of the idea at the initial stage. You create ideas of the maximum ideas. Then you have one more phase called evaluation phase, where you can evaluate ideas whether it is feasible or not. Okay. During the creativity phase, you create only ideas. You go for maximum numbers. Okay, go for a quantity. No need to worry about the quality initially. Okay, you go for a quantity, then you go for a quality using the feasibility studies. Then you evaluate your ideas afterwards. Um, what can be the best practice? Okay, the best practice can be you have to create a brainstorming session and you have to allow the chain reaction to give more ideas. Don't stop creative thinking until you get 8 good ideas. So this is the one which has been proposed by Mr. L.D. Mills. In those days, when he started during the 1940s, he told that we need to create ideas such a way. We should not stop the ideas until we get 8 good ideas. But there is no number called 8. It can be higher than 8 numbers or less than 8 numbers. Doesn't matter. But you need to allow maximum ideas to happen, and you need to create a very good brainstorming. We are going to do it also. And you have to identify and overcome roadblocks. If you have any roadblocks, something you need to identify it. Okay, and then you have to overcome those roadblocks. Um, it can be a kind of uh, suppose if you have any problem with respect to what is the roadblock that you have to identify, then you have to eliminate that roadblock to achieve the value. Okay, so this is it. Even you can look at you can try to identify some of the roadblocks and try to even you can also highlight this to your top management. They will help to avoid to bring down the roadblocks so that you can achieve the value. So it is nothing but here. What is the roadblock here is that some of the decision that is going to prevent you to not to implement the ideas. The decisions could be due to lack of information. This can be because of lack of information or acceptance of the wrong information and wrong belief on the part of the decision maker. So it is the duty of the value engineers. You have to recognize the roadblocks and you have to provide more correct information with proper timing, and also you have to present it to the required person so that the decision makers will make a use of it. Okay. Um, you also need to plan out some of the action to cover some of these roadblocks. So you try to use the industrial experts to extend your specialized knowledge into this. Say, for example, you can bring some of the subject matter experts. Um, it is also the quality of the answers to value problems is also dependent upon the depth of penetration of the subject matter expert, how they are bringing the maximum value by analyzing the deep depth of the problem, depth of the information. And you should also understand that value engineers have to bring these experts into your value projects, and you have to get the maximum best answer to attend the best functions also. Okay. You can use the industry experts for you to achieve the value. So it is very much important. Okay. To get a dollar sign on the key tolerance, it means if the cost of obtaining a key tolerance or specific tolerance has been determined, say for this is something related to design aspect. Okay. Say for example, for it is one of the examples of energy meter. Okay. For example, if the current transformer is going to have 0.25 percentage, okay, but if the standard is going to be zero point 0.5, okay, then you can use zero point 0.5 instead of zero point 0.2 because it is going to be standard, and you still it will also reduce the cost. Okay, because it is already been standardized across all other companies as well. So zero point 0.5 when you make it, it's not that the zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5 will increase the cost. If you use the standardized one, tolerance one, so your cost will get reduced. Okay. So you can look for some of the tolerance even when you're selecting the supplier or when you're selecting the process machines, raw materials. You can look for standardization, okay, where you can reduce the cost. You always utilize vendors available. So you try to take the support of your supplier. Okay, you identify the vendors, specialty products, and you can place them in the product in your process. Here it is going to be a process for you, not a product. And you have to look for analyzing the functions from the vendors having the low cost, and you have to implement it when you're going for a new process. Basically, you create a database, okay, to achieve the functional items to provide a list of large number of specialty vendors and that are available. And maybe you can also look for some recommending some of the changing of drawing the changes, some of the dimensions. Say for example, changing the shaft size, which has been provided, and you can also look for your own size instead of customize this size also. And you should always utilize and pay for your vendor skills and knowledge. Okay, you can make use of your suppliers. You can also involve them for the brainstorming. Okay, maybe for the project number one, you can use the your vendors. You can also involve them. You can invite them for brainstorming also. Okay, that will be still better. Or even you can take your customers also, voice of customer, those things also. But
Yeah.
you have to bring your supplier skill, and you also bring your supplier knowledge. And anyway, you are also going to pay, right? Anyway, you are going to pay this one, okay? For this
Yes.
type of
Yes.
brainstorming, you don't need to pay any separate money, but you can bring them for idea generation, so that will be much more better, okay?
Yes. Yes. Thanks.
But you're able to identify who is your potential supplier for improving the process for your. So here is you can tell it can be for process, and finally you're going to get a product out of the process. By adding
Yeah.
good skills and knowledge from vendors, you are going to get the good results. So try to bring them as well. And the 11th one is going to be you have to use the specialty process. Okay, always go for a specialty process like which is there which will lead to the less cost. Here it is a process which would reliably accomplish the need of the function with lower cost, and it can be through some of the technology involved. Say, for example, here the purpose of this is that you need to have uh, a specialty process. Okay, and here this will help you to reduce the time lag. And it is special to like even you can go for some other special tools, which will also increase the value. You have to look out the appearance of the special tools basically. Okay. It can be anything. It's special tools, special processes. Okay, you have to identify those things. Maybe even even you can look for some other automation or some other things. Okay, where you will get quality products with reducing the defect. Anything you can look into. Many aspects you can look into. Even if you reduce the time lag, also it will be good. If you reduce the cycle time, still the productivity can be improved. So you try to apply the standards which is there, so that if you go for a standard one for your process, and you can reduce the cost. Then yeah, this is very much important. Would I spend my money this way? Would I spend my money this way? Which means for anything, anything, whatever you are going to get, whether you are you going to spend money this way? Okay, it can be for anything. Okay, suppose you are purchasing a car worth 2.5 lakhs. Take an example of a Tata Nano. So would I need to spend 2.5 lakhs to purchase Tata Nano car? Or would I need to spend um, 12 lakhs rupees to purchase Mahindra Scorpio? So whenever you spend money, you always need to think whether you need to spend your money this way. Okay, that's why even for your process or your product, you try to analyze would your company need to spend money so and so value for that particular process. Okay, they go for the least process cost without affecting the function at the same time the productivity or the cycle time, whatever you call. Okay, here say for example a limited amount is being allocated for the purpose and function. Okay, there is a limited amount which is being allocated with respect to the purpose and also function. So what you have to do is you have to take some effort to secure that the function is not going to get affected, and you are going to achieve the function with the least cost. Yeah, instead of going for a 12 lakh Mahindra Scorpio, I can go with 2.5 lakh of Tata Nano. What is the function here to transport people? Okay, so but again, there are even to comfort, there are a lot of things are there. Okay, I'm not going to look into those aspects. Yes, even if you have money, and suppose if the number of people are going to be more, and if that is the function, then you can go with Mahindra Scorpio because the comfort, because the space is going to be more. Okay, and even it's good for long travel. Okay, and you have a lot of things out there. And if it is city driving, if it is city and where you have 3 people or 2 people to travel, then that analogy is quite good. Okay, in your application, when your function, you have to select, you have to see whether you need to spend that the way how much you want to spend. You always make some alternative techniques for your process with respect to your stage by stage operations, how you can bring down the overall cost. So this is the thing, you can look into it. So this is the 13 techniques. Okay? So what I will do is maybe I will take a snapshot of, because it is given an example of a specific product, may not be applicable for you. So I will take a snapshot of this and then I will share to you in
Yes.
a group, okay, so that you can have this as a handy one, and you can see it, okay.